Today is September 27th, a Friday in the afternoon. It's roughly the beginning of fall, or a few days into fall. And this train I made up here is a short train with a USA Trains S4 locomotive. It happens to be a Reading locomotive. And I made up this train fairly short with 10 total cars on it. And I'm going to run it outside, and usually with one of these USA Trains engines, that's about the limit of cars I can pull up my grade without the engine having excessive wheel slip. So this engine is a very nice locomotive, and myself, Ted Doskaris, and Colin Camarillo have developed what we call a CamPac box, and you can see it here. And it's right here, and we've replicated a prototype S4 box. They were also used on the S2, the earlier versions. And the original, the way this engine was received, it had hook and loop couplers on it, typical low mount fashion that USA Trains had, and also a very vestigial looking draft gear arrangement. This box here replicates much more readily the prototype draft gear box, and in order to put it on, a notch is cut out into the pilot. It's 3/10 of an inch deep, and the width of the box here that we've replicated, we replicated again the original, or the prototype draft gear box that is prevalent on an S4. And this particular version box, we replicated the 4 ribs and also the rivet heads, or they may be bolt heads, but I believe they're rivet heads. And so it looks a lot more realistic than the way the original USA Trains arrangement had it. And of course, we put Kadee centerset couplers from the 907 kit in our CamPac boxes, including this one. And we use the lid from the kit and the springs as well. We don't use the screws. We have 256 screws, 2 of them which hold the lid onto the box. So this locomotive was lent to us by Robert Van Dusen, and I thank Robert very much for the opportunity in order to develop the CamPac box application for these S4s. So I'm going to run this train outside, and of course before I do that I have to switch my turnout here so that it'll go to the outdoor portal. And so I shall proceed to run the train now. Now the S4 here doesn't like pulse width modulation insofar as the lights work, and also the performance of the motors, it seems. So there's some unique design in the circuit board. F3s are fine, and GP9s seem to be fine, and GP38s, but the USA Trains, those are USA Trains models, and the USA Trains GP30 doesn't seem to like PWM, nor does the S70. So I'm going to proceed to run the train now. So it's set to linear, and the light will eventually come on. The advantage of PWM, of course, is the lights, and or if you use spoke units, they'll function at when the train is stopped. So I'll go outdoors now. So here's the short train, 10 cars. I chose to use mostly Eastern Railroad cars on this to replicate something maybe the Reading Railroad would have had here. Today is September 29th, 2019. This is Ted Doskaris, and my camcorder the other day ran out of battery charge, while I was trying to run this Reading locomotive here with a short car, 10-car train. I was trying to run it outside and ran it out part way, and the battery gave up on my camcorder here, so I had to wait and recharge it. So I'm going to run the engine out again, and once again it's equipped with a CamPac 3D printed draft gear or coupler box, and also we do the unique pedestal for it to mount it on the locomotive. And so I'm going to run this train now outside, and hopefully the battery will not give up on my camcorder. So here we go. And I'm running it on linear because rather than pulse width modulation, because this engine doesn't seem to like PWM. So the train is now going outside from under the house, and I'll go outside to meet up with it. Here it is coming across the bridge. So I'll speed it up and make a run for the hill. And it seems like it's having trouble pulling even these few cars up the hill, but it's gradually give it a little assist here. Probably if it had one less car, it'd have a much better time. Once it gets grip on the curve, it should do a little bit better. There, you can see it now getting grip on the curve. There are no traction tires on this USA Trains loco, unlike many of the others they have. So we'll see if it can do a little better now on this grade that's a little bit less severe. There we go. So all these cars are Aristo-Craft cars on this train, and they've all been lowered. The gondolas, well, I say all but the tank cars, but the gondolas are lowered by using USA Trains trucks and modifying the truck bolster itself by lowering the truck bolster within the side frames. That's how they're lowered. And again, all the cars, as well as the loco, are equipped with Kadee centerset couplers. And in the case of the box cars, they have the late lowered Aristo-Craft floors in them. And the gondolas and the flat cars are, the flat car there has extra weight added to about roughly 3 pounds. So here it's having a little trouble cresting the grade here up to the backyard. And the train is going to go up to the center path here. And come over the horseshoe loop viaduct of mine, and we'll see if we can catch it going down the hill. There we go. there you have it. Now here's the train with the engine put on the other end of the train, where the boxcars are now first. So it's going in the reverse direction. And the wind is picked up. So you can hear the chimes in the background, the wind chimes. So the engine is cab first now, and it's going to go on the outside back fence, along the back fence. And I'll show it going down the loop that it came up. Slow it down here. So you can hear the cars taking up slack and going into tension and compression depending on how the grade changes. So the wind kind of died down a little bit for the time being. The other day, one of those Baltimore and Ohio boxcars blew off the track up here where the two number 6 turnouts are on the top there, above where it's at now. There, it's coming around the tree now. And we'll proceed to go under the house. Slow it down here. So there you have it, a test run of the USA Trains S4 switch engine that has centerset Kadee couplers and CamPac 3D printed coupler boxes, draft gearboxes.